Hey guys, my name is Malcolm Hill and today I'm going to give you my surfboard review of this board here, which is a JS Monster 8. This particular board, it's 5'11" by 18 3/4 by 2 3/8. Comes in at 27.5 litres. My weight, I'm around 160 pounds, which is 73 kilos. And I'm around 5'9", 5'10" if I'm wearing shoes. I've been riding a lot of kind of what you call less traditional boards. A lot of boards out of the Firewire range. I was riding an Evo. Tomo Evo for a while. I was riding one of the Omnis, a Sci-Fi, a Gamma, a lot of epoxies. And the main reason that I wanted to jump on this board is I felt like all of those boards in their time, they really helped me to improve certain things in my surfing. But I really wanted to get on kind of the most stock standard short board that was available on the market. And everyone that I talked to had said that the Monster 8 is about as short board as a modern short board can get. Also, I don't think it's any accident that JS probably has one of the best teams in the world of surfers. So I did see this board a lot in the CT events I watch, and that was another motivation for me. Obviously, I wanted to get a surfboard that a lot of the pros are riding, that's similar to what they're riding, just to see how this sort of surfboard would work for me and my surfing as a non-professional surfer, and kind of test my skills with this sort of shape. I also wanted to get a board that was slightly longer to what I'd been riding before. With a lot of the alternative shapes I've been riding, a lot of them are a lot shorter, and my typical kind of short board range would be a 5'8" to a 5'9". This board being a 5'11", it is a lot longer. Well, definitely when I got it, it felt like a lot longer than what I typically ride. But I've always liked seeing boards that are longer. The rail line, when somebody's doing a turn on a longer board, a lot of times it just looks better. So I wanted to see what that was going to look like with my surfing as well, having a bit longer board compared to what I'd usually ride. Before I received this surfboard, my biggest misconception was that I thought this was the sort of surfboard that was only going to work in really, really good waves, and absolutely perfect waves. I'm not saying that this is a groveler by any means, like a groveling type surfboard, but one thing that surprised me massively is just the fact that it will work in subpar conditions. The waves don't have to be pumping, they don't have to be huge for this board still to work and to go pretty well. I still think that it is at its best in really high quality, really good waves, but it's not just a surfboard that's only good for good waves. It will work in everyday conditions as well. So almost all of the surfs that I've had on this board over the last 6-8 months have been here in Costa Rica, where I live, and the waves here are kind of mostly playful beach breaks. We do have a couple of reef breaks that work, and a couple of point breaks. I've only really ridden it in the beach breaks and a couple of the reef breaks. This part of the country in Costa Rica, we get a lot of really strong offshore days, a lot of really strong offshore winds. Because this board's a PU, I've found that quite good. The little bit of extra weight that the PU kind of construction has, it just sits in the water a little bit deeper, and you kind of feel the rail sinking into the water a bit better instead of sitting so high in the water, like I've felt with a lot of epoxy. Well, I don't have any experience with shaping boards or massive knowledge on surfboards, but with this board here, when you look at the outline of it, it looks like a high performance shortboard, right? It doesn't have really anywhere where the rails are too straight. It's pretty curved right the way through. The rocker of the surfboard, if you can see that, on the JS website, it says that it's got a medium rocket throughout, and I would say that the rocket is pretty continuous throughout the whole surfboard. like I said earlier, one of the things I was slightly worried about when I first got the surfboard is that it wouldn't perform in subpar conditions. And that's been proven wrong for me, and you'll see that in some of the clips. It really wants to surf in the pocket, and that's where you're going to get the best performance out of the board. However, that being said, it's not so rocketed that when you get out onto a flat section it just dies. I have ridden high performance surfboards in the past that unless you're surfing right in that pocket of the wave, they just don't work. You can't get out on the open face and do kind of a big roundhouse because they're just too rocket. They can't fit in that part of the wave very well. Whereas this board, this Monster 8 is just the perfect balance of something that fits into the pocket well, but when you get out on the face of the wave, it will still hold the rail and get over that flat section pretty comfortably. The construction of this board is standard PU, standard polyurethane. I've found this board really durable. I've probably had, say, 30 to 40 surfs on the board, if I'm counting roughly. And I don't know if you can see this here, but there's not too many footwells, and the board hasn't gone yellow either, like hasn't yellowed hardly at all. We've got the little kind of white carbon strips on the tail back here. I usually get really bad foot rot, like toe rot on the rails of my boards, and this one's held up perfectly. It would be, in my opinion, one of the strongest PU constructed surfboards that I've ever had. Personally, I only ride Futures in all of my boards. Those are just the fins I own. I've always had this theory that with a wider tailed board, you want to have more fin in the water so that the wide tail doesn't slide out as much. And with a narrower tailed board like this, you actually get a lot of grip in the turns from the rail of the surfboard. What I've found is I can have a smaller fin in a kind of board that's got a tighter tail, because the rail is giving me a lot of grip through my turns as well. The fins I've used in this board, I've used EA Black Sticks. They've gone really well when the waves are tiny, like the weakest conditions I've surfed with this board. That's worked well. But for day-to-day use, this particular fin here is very similar to a John Florence medium template. The John Florence kind of Tech Flex medium template is what these are similar to, and I've found they work perfectly in most conditions. If you are an intermediate to an advanced surfer, you're looking to try your surfing ability with something that's a more high performance surfboard, I think that this is a great purchase for you. When I first bought the surfboard, I had this fear that a surfboard like this would be beyond my ability and beyond what I knew how to do in surfing, because the pros were riding this. And in my head, I've always had this thought that, if the pros are riding that board, then it's going to be beyond my ability to ride. And that's why I've been riding so many alternative boards for so many years. Once I got on this, it showed me that I can actually do turns, really good turns in the pocket, that this board has allowed me to do, which I didn't feel I could do on a lot of the other boards I've been riding in the past. Personally, I haven't done many airs on this board. Personally, I don't do many airs. I'm not very good at it. But I've found that smaller, kind of wider boards for me have made it much easier to learn to do airs on. This board for me is much more about doing turns on the face of the wave, doing good top turns, getting tubes, that sort of stuff. I've found it great for that. I'm sure it is a great air board for those of you who know how to do airs really well, but that's not me. I've still got a lot to improve with that. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the JS Monster 8. If you've got any specific questions about this board, feel free to leave it in the comments below. All of the footage for this review, all of the surfing footage was filmed with a Solo Shot 3 camera, which I've had for about 18 months now. If you've got any specific questions on the Solo Shot 3, or you think I should make a review of that camera, please leave a comment down below, and when I get time I'll do that. Lastly, I'd love to thank my beautiful wife for sitting here and filming me make this video. She's awesome, and I'm very lucky to have her.